from Western New York. It's time to charge up, bringing you the vibe, the pride, the power. This is Charge. Hey, yo, Buffalo, you're gonna love this one. Sadna. Nah, I lived in a lab making this joint. Hours turned to days until it was perfect. Bill's Mafia in the house. It's the Queen City anthem, built on grit and grind. Buffalo style, yeah, one of a kind. Snow falling heavy, but the fire burns bright under them stadium lights. The Mafia ignites, we hold it down, loyal through the pain. Every snap, every hit, it's the charge we sustain. From the fans to the field, it's more than a game. It's a family, a legacy, remember the name.
Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bill's Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight.
Yeah, we hold it down. In the 716. Let's go. From the tailgates lit to the thunderous sound, you can feel the passion when the Bills come around. It's a blue-collar love, built tough and true. From the heart of the city to the red, white, and blue, we bring that heat, even in the cold. With every drive, another story unfolds. It's Buffalo pride, yeah, the Mafia way. Under them lights, we making plays. You feel that? That's Buffalo pride. Every fan, every play, this city rides. We built this together. We'll never fall. Bills Mafia forever. We answer the call. Through the highs and lows, we stay in the fight. Buffalo strong, yeah, the future is bright.
Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bills Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight.
Yeah, we hold it down. In the 716. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. From the tailgates lit to the thunderous sound, you can feel the passion when the Bills come around. It's a blue-collar love built tough and true. From the heart of the city to the red, white, and blue, we bring that heat, even in the cold. With every drive, another story unfolds. It's Buffalo pride, yeah, the Mafia way. Under them lights, we making plays. You feel that? That's Buffalo pride. Every fan, every play, this city rides. We built this together. We'll never fall. Bills Mafia forever. We answer the call. Through the highs and lows, we stay in the fight. Buffalo strong, yeah, the future is bright.
Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bills Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight.
Hot on the mic, bringing it straight from Western New York to the world. This is Charge with Thomas and Sterling. Bills Mafia, stand tall and proud. We got this.
What's up? What's up? It's your boy Sterls for the girls and my dog TD. We are back
What up?
at it, baby. Back at it. Here for another episode. Welcome to Buffalo Media Network. This is the Charge Podcast. And we are your lovely hosts. We got Ian in the back. You won't be able to see him. We're not saying he's ugly, but we're just saying like we put him in the back behind a closed door because he's going to do all the stuff that we don't want to do in the background. So yeah, you guys can say hi to Ian. But we're back for another episode, man, and it's a great day. It is a great day, TD. How you doing, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling awesome. Better than I was because this past weekend was a nightmare. I feel like my life is constantly just like the most tumultuous story. My daughter fractured her arm because my 2-year-old son decided he wanted to roll her around like a barrel. So yeah, we're doing good. We're heading in the right direction, and we are less than a month away from the NFL draft. I am amped.
Yeah, man, it's a month away, and are you tired of doing mock drafts yet?
No.
You're not. I mean, we'll do one at the end of the show, obviously, but man, it's like I want the real thing. I am ready to see how all this plays together. It's been awesome, man. It's been awesome. Just talking about these prospects, free agency. We're kind of in the second, third wave of free agency now. And we don't really expect to see much fireworks from any team really in the NFL until draft day or after the draft. So we're kind of this is the limbo phase of what I'm trying to say between free agency and the draft. Most of the teams kind of have an idea, right? This is the part where they kind of have an idea of who they want to take. You kind of feel some needs during the free agency period. So what we're going to do tonight, for those of you wondering, we're going to take a little jaunt around the AFC East, kind of talk about each team in detail and what they've done so far in free agency. Because TD, you had a conversation, we were talking backstage here about a conversation that you had with someone, and you made a comment about the New England Patriots possibly being the second best team in the AFC East. And I don't think you're crazy for that take. I mean, they've made some big moves. So I'm going to let you start off with that, and let's get it, baby.
So heading into this offseason, I think a lot of people knew that the Patriots, because you didn't know who the coach was going to be. Yeah, I mean, obviously they've got Drake May, which is a great starting point. Anytime you've got a franchise quarterback in-house, you are one leg up on everybody else, right? So they're in a good spot right there. They had a crap ton of salary cap to be able to spend, and a couple good pieces. Christian Gonzalez is a really nice piece on that side. They've got Christian Barmore. They've got a couple pieces on offense that we'll see what happens. Javon Baker, a wide receiver last year, I know a lot of Bills fans liked. And just in general, they're kind of starting to head in the right direction. And then they went ahead and they signed, or they brought in a brand new coach, right? Which I think is probably one of the best coach signings this offseason in Mike Vrabel. They brought him in after he was fired, which is crazy. And then on top of it, they had some really nice signings. But so my point to this, the reason I think the Patriots at this point are the best or the second best team in the AFC East is that if you look at the overall landscape of the AFC East, obviously you got Buffalo at the top. And I think that's pretty clear cut at this point. I think Buffalo is, as of this point, they've won the AFC East 5 years in a row. Heading into this will be going for 6 years in a row. They've got it all kind of just in place, right? Right now, they're kind of that team. Then you look at the Jets and the Dolphins, and we're being fair. I don't think either team markedly got better. Like I just don't think either team added enough where I'm sitting there saying, like, I think one team is better than the other. And yes, I understand for the Patriots, like they had to add a lot because they were one of the worst teams in the league last year. But I think a lot of that also just had to do with the fact that they just offensively couldn't keep up. They were so anemic on offense that when you can't score, you're never going to win a game. Where, if they looked at them defensively, they were a very good team. I mean, they were very well coached. I mean, the head coach, right, who got fired, obviously, didn't really know what he was doing. Maybe it wasn't his forte. He was a good defensive mind, but like just not – some guys aren't meant to be head coaches. And if you look at the team in totality, I don't think they were bad. I think they were just devoid of talent on the offensive side of the ball. Well, so far they've done that, right? We saw that they signed Stephon Diggs yesterday, which we'll get into that in a minute. They brought in a couple different pieces in terms of bolstering that offense. They brought in Mac Hollins, our guy. They re-signed Austin Hooper. They signed Morgan Moses to their offensive line. Wes Schweitzer, Garrett Bradbury, they brought him in to be their center. So they've added some pieces on that offense, and they still got some more to go, right? They're obviously going to go ahead in the draft and maybe bring in a guy like Travis Hunter, which, I mean, dear Lord, what an incredible signing that would be for them. But when I look at this team, the reason I think that the Patriots are where they're at is when you look at the Jets, they've got Justin Fields. I don't believe in Justin Fields. Like I like Justin Fields coming out of Ohio. He back when they did Elite 11 with Trent Dilfer and John Brinkus. I think that, he was really good when he was competing against Trevor Lawrence as a high school player heading into college. but he hasn't really evolved. Like he hasn't really, even when he was in Chicago, then in Pittsburgh, and granted, his run in Pittsburgh was not great. They didn't really give him the opportunity to excel, but he's never really been the guy. And I don't know if the Jets are a good enough team or franchise at this point, and we'll see what their new head coach and their OC or their new GM, if that changes. But I'm not super, super, I don't know, impressed per se by him. And then on the Dolphins side, Tua Tagovailoa, albeit a very talented quarterback, just can't stay healthy. And whether that's a couple games here, a couple games there, they're at a severe disadvantage because they won 8 games last year. So, the one comment was if Tua can stay healthy. If being a massively huge word in that entire sentence. If Tua can stay healthy, he hasn't yet. I mean, he literally ran into DeMar Hamlin's chest, fell over, was out for 4 games. If you are worrying about Tua, you are at a distinct disadvantage because you are on an uphill climb. You have to, at the very minimum, win 8 games and hope that he stays healthy. And that's, a picture perfect deal where everything goes right. So right now on the very onset, and again, this is a very long-winded answer on high level overview, I just think the Patriots are in a better position out of the starting gate right now to be a more impactful franchise.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Patriots because I think there's some, I'm not mad at what they've done. Like if I'm a fan of the Patriots, I'm happy. I don't like the Diggs signing. Just because, why are you going to pay a guy north of $69 million, $23 million guaranteed? That's a lot for a guy coming off off an ACL surgery. But let's start with the Dolphins. We'll go to the Jets, and then we'll go obviously with the other 2 teams here, Patriots and the Bills. So let's start with the Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa. You're not wrong about Tua. And, I'm sure Miami Dolphins fans, if you're watching this, you're going to be mad because what I have to say, number one, you probably shouldn't have paid Tua all that money. The contract that they paid him, too much money. You're giving contracts to guys like Chubb and, it's just like, I get it. I totally understand it, but you have to make better financial decisions. You have to be a good steward of that free agency dollars. And you got 2 wide receivers that you're paying a shit ton of money to. Waddle, I get it because he's your future, right? But Tyreek Hill, it's a wrap. The production has completely gone down. And you could say, okay, well, part of that's the reason is because they didn't have Tua, and that brings you back to this point. Right. You're kind of in no man's land because Tua, forget the contract. He's not a guy, in my opinion, that elevates your football team from an X's and O's standpoint. I get it. He's accurate, right? And you can hang your hat on the fact that he's accurate, but he doesn't necessarily take the team to the next level. And I think, it's almost like having a Tyrod Taylor. Now, Tua's better than Tyrod, but it's kind of the same thing. And I just don't think that Tua's going to be the long-term franchise answer at quarterback.
Again, like I said, I think Tua is very talented. Granted, a lot of his offense is timing based, but I think there's 2 caveats to him. Right. Obviously, that he can't stay healthy, and that's proven. And whether that's long term or even short term, like Josh Allen, who's yet to miss a game, any time missed is time missed. Right. Like it's kind of that old adage, like if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Right. Any time that you're not there before the start of the workday, you're not on time. Any time that you're not on the field playing is missed time. And the fact that Tua has yet to be able, on a consistent basis since his day at Alabama when he hurt his hip really bad, all this time he hasn't been able to stay healthy, and it's been a legitimate issue. And if I'm a fan of the team, first off, I wouldn't have paid him, but if I'm a fan of the team, I'd be mortified because you're going into the season. It's kind of like when you're in a relationship and you guys are on the rocks, right? You're constantly worrying if something's going to go astray, right? If things aren't going to work out. With Tua, you're just waiting for that other shoe to drop. Like it's not if he's going to get hurt. It's more so when he's going to get hurt, right? And that's the biggest issue. And then to the other side to that, right? He just is not clutch. How many times have we seen him in the biggest moments against Josh Allen where he has the chance to win the game and he can't? You know, and I'm not saying Josh Allen doesn't have his moments too. You know, I know I'm going to
Sure.
get chirped. And if this is made into a TikTok, which I'm sure it will, I'm sure I'm probably going to get chirped on everything I say half the time. But in terms of Tua, like if you're not able to get the team over the hump and you're not able to stay healthy, I'm sorry, but what are you? What benefit do you provide? I mean, great, you could throw the ball on a timing based offense, but
You're a placeholder, essentially.
exactly.
And and here's the thing, TD, they didn't do much at all to upgrade the offensive line. I mean, here's the deal. If I'm Tua, I'm like, damn, like we got to get some more help on the offensive line. Okay. And I don't think they did that this offseason so far, right? Look, they re-signed Liam Eichenberg to a 1-year deal. Well, we know at best he plays center guard.
And he's terrible.
He's terrible, right? You got Jackson Carman. Excuse me. Like, what's the plan here? What's the plan? And I mean,
James Daniels was a good signing. I think he could be
James Daniels. I think they got him on a 3-year deal.
They did 3 for $24.
Yeah, and that's an okay offensive lineman. You know,
Right.
I think he's starter level quality. University of Iowa, they produce good linemen. He's been a decent pro, but you didn't do anything to elevate this team from an offensive line standpoint. And it's like, okay, now you're going to roll Tua out there. Okay, you got a Terran Armstead, who's, I think he's retiring or retired or contemplating it, right? Aaron Brewer, who was okay, but I mean, and Austin Jackson at right tackle. I
was basically a turnstile.
Exactly, and has been that his entire career. So my point is this. And I know I'm saying it's that easy, but I think it's time for you have to start offloading some guys that you probably don't want to say bye to kind of start to fix that offensive line or relieve cap. Because if you're going to commit $200 million for Tua, you have to put him at the epicenter of your franchise because you've made him your cornerstone now. So you have to go out and spend those resources. I just don't see the commitment, right? I'm just not really keen on, putting all these rookie. That's even if that's their draft plan. We don't even know what their draft plan is right now. So I don't know, man. If you're a Dolphins fan, buddy, are they not the worst team in the AFC East? I mean,
I don't have a lot of like positive thoughts about them, and I kind of feel like aren't they kind of like the Steelers, like a team that should have torn everything down. I mean, literally to the studs, but they're like kind of spinning their wheels, and they're never going to get over that proverbial hump. Like they're just right. They're just a middling team, and in all reality, I mean, let's be fair. In each division, they've got a top team, right? Like whether it's the Ravens or the Bengals, whatever. And then this division, obviously, it's the Buffalo Bills. You can't just running into a wall, right? Like, and they're not doing anything dynamic to change. Chris Greer is not great at drafting, obviously. He had a couple hits here and there, but for the most part, it's been real swing and miss. So, like, if you're going to take the team over the top, like they signed Dwayne Eskridge, Nick Westbrook Akine, but I thought he was pretty good with Tennessee.
Yeah, he had a good year
last
Brown.
Yeah, he was fine. He was a good touchdown machine last year. Had a really nice season, but like that's it. Alexander Madison, who they're bringing in to replace. Why am I blanking at his name? They're running back from last year. Raheem Mostert, touchdown machine from a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And they brought in Zach Wilson as their backup. It's like, I mean, granted, no backups are really great, but like, I don't know. Like, if I look at this list of signings, like Zach Wilson, Alex Madison, Dwayne Eskridge, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Farrell Brown, Jackson Carman, Larry Borum, James Daniels, Liam Eichenberg, Benito Jones, KJ Britt, Tyrell Dodson, who we know very well, Willie Gay, Artie Burns, Afito Melifonwu, Elijah Campbell, Ashton Davis. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That just screams great. Like that just
what's
screams
the
like
plan?
Right. It's like the most underwhelming list of free. And granted, nobody wins in free agency, but like, sorry, none of those signings are going to take you over the top. And the reality is, unless he absolutely crushes the draft, which he's yet to do, I mean, they didn't get better. In fact, I think they got worse.
Right. And now you're talking about, having a wide receiver in Tyreek Hill who made some pretty damning comments at the end, end of the of the season.
Right.
And I don't even think he wants to be there. I mean, he's tired of losing. You got Bradley Chubb, who missed all of last year, Jalen Phillips, who pretty much missed all of last year. And so
with his second injury.
And it's like, okay, like you got Mohamed Kamara, who was a nice 3rd round pick. Chop Robinson had flashes last year. So you're happy about that. But I don't know how much Jalen Ramsey has in the tank. I'm just being honest. You're right.
He hasn't been good.
He hasn't been good.
It's been a rapid decline, if we're being fair.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, they brought Kader Kohu back, but then they lost Fuller, and they lost Javon Holland. Like,
right.
I'm sorry, like in totality, that defense has been gutted. I don't know, man. I'm not impressed by the Dolphins. And the fact that, it's one thing if they were neck and neck with the Bills the last 4 or 5 years and they were putting out 12 wins, but they were just losing or if they'd beaten the Bills. But the Bills have beaten the brakes off of them almost every single time. They beat every team in the AFC East last year, minus the Patriots in that one stupid game where the Bills had nothing to play for. Like, if they're not even close. So the fact that they're not close and they didn't get better is not a resounding, like, overwhelming sentiment of like, great, they should feel good about where they're at. If I was a Dolphins fan, what this tells me is this is where the Bills were for 15 years.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of Javon Holland, man, he signed with the Giants.
Yep.
What a great signing for them. I mean,
I like the Giants defense a lot. I love where it's headed.
Yeah. So, all right. So we know the Miami Dolphins are pretty much cooked. I mean, I
think so.
We'll see what happens after the draft, right? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now,
right?
And hope that they can have a good draft. But I just don't like what I've seen thus far in terms of their roster moves, and I think it's going to be another 6 to 8 win team, even with Tua at the helm. So you got to fix that offensive line. Let's go ahead and talk about the New York Jets.
Okay.
Okay. So, they got a new coach. I like him. I like him a lot. Defensive
I like Aaron Glenn a lot too.
Defensive coordinator from the Lions, former New York Jet, Aaron Glenn. So I think he's the right guy for the culture. Right. But I do feel this way though. We're having the same conversation about the Jets, and it's very reminiscent of what the Bills did in the 2010 to 2017, or even just the drought period in general. This reshuffling of coaches, right? And so, I love Aaron Glenn. Always loved Aaron Glenn as a football player. Love what he's been able to do and to cut his teeth as a defensive coordinator. I feel sorry for him now that he has to coach the Jets. You talk about their ownership team. I just don't feel comfortable. Okay, so what they've done in free agency thus far, Derek Nottie. Okay, he's a decent to solid nose tackle. I think if there's a calling card on the Jets, I think they have a really good defense and they have young pieces. Okay, so we've seen them. Jay Tufele, Isaiah Oliver, Tyler Johnson. I mean, these are Chris Boyd, but there's nothing really here that says splash. Now,
it's uninspiring to say the least.
Justin Fields to a 2-year contract, and then they got Brandon Stevens, who he gets cooked every week. I'm sorry. So
he was legitimately one of the worst corners in all of football last year.
Absolutely, right? And now they did get Andre Cisco, Syracuse grad. We love Andre Cisco, but he hasn't really done much in the league thus far. So, looking at this Jets team, let's start with Justin Fields.
Sure.
Why? It's why did you sign him? Like, you have an opportunity, and maybe he's going to compete, with a rookie that they go out and get. But I don't know if they have the. I don't think that's their plan is to go draft a guy in the first round, right? But they need to do it,
right?
But he's okay. But I don't see a future with him at all. I mean, I can dive into what I think of him from, watching the X's and O's. I mean, this is a guy, he runs the ball way too much. I mean, he doesn't know how to examine a defense. He still struggles with reading defenses, man. Like, he holds on to the ball too long. He's late, ball sail. And and it can't be because he doesn't have the weapons. Like, he's had weapons. Like, I don't understand what the issue is. So I just don't think he's a good quarterback.
No, I'm not super impressed. And to be honest with you, I think the move is just, it's kind of underwhelming. Like, they gave him two for 40,
Mm-hmm.
$20 million a year, which, going rate of a quarterback, it's hard to say. I mean, quarterbacks are getting so much money nowadays that $20 million is really probably not that much. But I mean, I think there's a tough spot right here for the Jets, because they're obviously coming off the Aaron Rodgers situation. So that whole thing is just a terrible taste in a lot of fans' mouths. They didn't want to bring him back. The new regime didn't want to bring him back. So they decided, okay, let's go get Justin Fields. And of all the options, he was probably the best. But I mean, it's like lipstick on a pig, right? Like, you're not talking about an incredible buffet of choices. It's like going to Old Country Buffet and looking for, a Michelin star menu. Like, you're just not going to get that. So I think Justin Fields, for what they're looking for, is fine. But I think the expectations need to be tempered for what the Jets are. I mean, in all reality, they're just, I think they're just an average team, and like last year they did okay with Aaron Rodgers. Justin Fields is not even, I don't think Justin Fields right now is as good as Aaron Rodgers was last year, which is crazy to say out loud. I think Justin Fields is just a guy.
Let me bring this home for you then.
I mean, how much let me ask you this.
Okay.
How much different is Justin Fields from Tyrod Taylor?
That's what I was just about to say. I'd rather have Tyrod starting than I would Justin Fields.
Right.
Right.
I don't think they're markedly different. I think in the way that they play the game, and I mean, at this point, Tyrod's proven he can at least throw the ball.
Correct. He might not want to throw it over the middle, but he gonna throw the ball.
No, certainly not. We know that. But mobility wise, maybe Justin, because he's younger, he's got a little bit more juice in him now.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. Like, what do you really? I mean, so my thing is, and this comes down to the Dolphins again. Tear the shit down.
Yep. Take your medicine.
Like, you want to really compete, you got to tear it down to the studs. Like, you're a top 7 pick. Last year, if they had gotten rid of Aaron Rodgers and not played him, they probably would have the first overall pick. And now you're talking Cam Ward, right? Which, I like Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward played really well with Miami. Is he as good as maybe like the Drake May class? Probably not. Maybe he is. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's probably close, splitting hairs. But like, at a certain point, that's what the Bills did. That's what made Brandon Beane so successful. Is he got rid of all the dead cap. He revamped the entire franchise, tore it down to the studs, went after a quarterback, and built that bitch right back up, right? Like, and that's what you got to do. You can't. It's like taking popsicle sticks and then putting heavy weights on top and expecting this really, really, really poorly constructed base to hold this really bloated top. And it's just not going to, because you have to do, like, you see, NFL is tried and true, a proven commodity of how you win in this league, right? You have to build it the right way from the base to the top. You need a good quarterback. You need to have a good offensive line. You need to have good defensive line. And that's where you start and you go up. And you have to have a good GM to make sound decisions with good cap choices. Neither of these teams have done this, right? A lot of their decisions have been really quite the Aaron Rodgers contract is just, an egregious bloated contract that's going to be sitting on there for the next year or two. On the Dolphins side, they've got Tyreek Hill's massive bloated contract that's sitting there right now that next year is a $58 million cap hit. Like, that's the problem. You want to be good. If you are going to be closer to being good if you tear it down than you are if you're going to just keep, spinning your wheels in that muck that you consider yourself a franchise.
So here's where I'll give them credit. I'll give them credit here. They went out and their general manager, Darren Mooey from Denver, I think he was there for like 12 years. This dude started as a scout, very similar path that our general manager, Brandon Beane, had. So hopefully, and we don't know, what Woody Johnson has told him, what that relationship is like, but Woody Johnson, put pen to paper and signed this contract, gave him money, etc. He was in Denver for 12 years. Okay. So he saw the Peyton Manning thing. He knows what it's like to not have a quarterback, right? He knows what it's like to when you don't take your medicine, what that looks like.
Right.
I want my thing with him is I want to know, did he learn from previous GMs that he's worked under? You got to take your medicine. So if I'm him, knowing that Justin Fields is our quarterback, you have to know Justin Fields is not our long-term answer right off top, right off rip. Okay, so we can kind of see that by the contract that they signed him to, $20 million. That's like, okay, you're barely a starter, but we're looking for more. We can agree to that, right? So
Certainly.
it has to be, we're either going to we're going to put pieces, we're going to prepare this team for next year, or we're going to take a swing this year and try to win now. I don't think you can do both necessarily with that roster that they currently have. You got a wide receiver there that I love a lot, Garrett Wilson, even though he's from Ohio State, but he's a damn good receiver. You mean to tell me you're going to look Garrett Wilson, who's going to be up for a contract extension at the end of next year? Like, what are you going to tell him? Like, you got to have some kind of like plan, and because he's their offense right now. He is the most important piece of their offense right now. So you either try to go and draft players around him, right, to keep him happy for a year, and then go and then you say, hey, we're going to go get a quarterback next year. Or you can't just be like, yeah, Justin, we're going to ride with Justin Fields and we're just going to see how it works out. Man, I think that's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
Sauce is going to be wanting a contract. I mean, so I don't know, man. I like the dude. I like the dude. I've seen him at Broncos training camp. Like he seems like a legit dude. Like, but will he learn from his mistakes? I don't know. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the tough part about when you're hoping that these GMs and head coaches are going to pan out, but in all reality, it's just not the case. I mean, more often than not, that's why the attrition rate in the NFL is what it is, right?
Yep.
Like most GMs just don't last. And I think that the tough part is when you're coming in as a GM, especially a new GM, you are going to inherit part of an old GM's roster and coaching staff, and all these guys are going to leave stuff behind. So you got to make an implicit decision to say, hey, this is how we want it to be, and just go with it. And you got to hope that your owner is going to stay out of your way and not meddle where he's going to make you not be able to make those choices. So I think if we'll see what this Justin Fields thing is. Maybe it's a reclamation project. Maybe he turns into a great quarterback. I hope he doesn't.
Good and damn well you don't believe that. He's not.
I know he's not going to, but the Jets fans are hoping that he does. And I just don't see it happening. I don't think he's going to be that guy. And then in a couple of years, they're going to be right back to square one, which again, here's the issue, right? Okay. Hope springs eternal, right? That phrase is important. Hope springs eternal. You're going to have to go sign Garrett Wilson. You're going to have to go sign Sauce Gardner. You're going to have to sign all these pieces. Do you think they want to sign with a team who's going to be on their third quarterback, fourth quarterback? For some of them, it's their fourth. Quentin Williams, this will be his fifth. Like, if I'm these guys, man, I want nothing to do with this stuff. I'm like, I want the hell out of Dodge, right? So
if you're not Myles Garrett, right?
No, right. No, because he thinks Dak Prescott's coming, apparently. No, I think that's the tough part with these situations is the NFL is all about working and working fast. It is what have you done for me lately? And you better prove it quick. So I think the Jets, again, like we've said, and I think this is the biggest part to this whole situation, is as good as they are, like in certain little avenues, and they've had their moments, right? Like we've seen DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner was a great pairing for a minute. Their defensive line, when they had, like JFN and Quentin Williams, they've got some really nice pieces on that D line. Quincy is really good as a linebacker. They brought back, why am I blanking? Jamie and Sherwood, like they've got some nice pieces, but again, all that's got to be put in. All that doesn't matter if your offense can't do a thing.
Right.
And so, you're talking on offense, Breece Hall has yet to be able to consistently stay healthy. Sauce Gardner is good, but after that, they don't really have a whole hell of a lot on offense.
Right.
So, I mean, and now, who knows what your quarterback is? Is Justin Fields the guy? Will they bring in let me ask you this. If somehow they get to 7 where they pick, right? And Shedeur Sanders is there. Do they take him?
You got to.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, say what you want about Shedeur. And I think there's a lot of, I don't like the way he moves, right? but he's a grown man. And he's a young grown man at that. We know who his dad is, but it doesn't change the fact that the kid can play. Like Shador can play. And for all the people out there saying that, Cam Ward is so much better than Shador Sanders, you're fucking crazy, because it's not. There's not a big gap there. Like Shador can play. So I say all that to say, if he's there at 7, you got to take him. Like what else are you trying to get? That like this draft is from a overall prospect point of view. Like there's not a lot of blue chip players in this draft.
No, this is a pretty underwhelming draft.
It is. Overall, it's kind of underwhelming. So if you have an opportunity to go get a quarterback at number 7, man, I think you make that pick so fast, bro, and just roll with it, and then you can actually give your team, those guys that have been there, like some assurity, saying, hey, we're gonna roll with this guy. I need you guys to buy in. Right. And that's a lot to ask for a new head coach. That's a lot to ask for a new GM. It's just a lot to ask. So we'll see how it plays out, man. I don't know, but I don't think that's what they do, though. I think if Shador's there, I don't think they pick him. What do you think?
Man, it's tough. I mean, you just spent $40 million on Justin Fields, and like I don't know. Like if I'm them, like if you're there, let's say you have Shador Sanders is one option, but then you have Armand Membu sitting there. That's a tough choice. Do you get the offensive lineman and finish out that offensive line? I don't know. Like, as much as I like Shador, I shouldn't say that. I really don't like Shador. I think he's fine. I'm not a huge fan. I think he is supremely limited.
I know you don't like him.
In his arm capacity. Like, he can't really, I mean, he can kind of do all the throws, but like arm strength is limited. He takes sacks like a goddamn robot, like is really concerning, especially considering Colorado doesn't play a ton of top end colleges. So like, and now he's going to have to play against really, really good teams every single week of the season. And if his pocket awareness isn't great in college, that's an issue. Like, great. Can he super accurate quarterback? All that is great. But you know what that is? That's Tua.
I can see where you're going with that. I will give Shador credit for this. Do. He's the kind of guy, he can keep an offense on schedule. I do think he can run an NFL offense. So like all the other stuff, yes, he does. I mean, Josh Allen was the king of fucking holding on to the ball in Wyoming, right? He just did, trying to make a play.
But that was also because he is, unlike Shador, one of the most unbelievably gifted and athletic people to ever walk this planet.
Right. But there is a part to his game where he can make plays off script, when he holds on to the ball. Like a lot of times, because I live out here. So I watched every freaking Colorado game. Okay.
Right. Like
he has some really good traits. So I mean, I'm higher on him than you. Now, if I were, ranking him between the prospects, from last year to this year, he's probably 5th on my list, to be honest, 6th on my list. Right. But
last year he wasn't a first-round quarterback.
Right. Yeah. You put him in last year's draft.
That tells you the dichotomy of the NFL draft is year by year. I mean, look at Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan wasn't a first. If he was in last year's draft, he wasn't a first round wide receiver.
Right.
But this year, he's a top 10 pick.
I mean, I like Ted, but not that much. Not that much. I think, like I've told you, I think Luther Burden and Matthew Golden are the two best receivers in this draft.
Dirty.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good. So,
and actually, side note, who I've been falling in love with? I tweeted this earlier. Jalen Knoll is super good. He's 5'10", so doesn't have the height, but man, everything he does, he's a 4.3 940.
Yeah, super
twitchy, incredible burst off the line. Impeccable route runner, can run. I mean, he can play. He could be your vertical wide receiver. He could be your slant, or he could be your slot receiver. I mean, he can play almost any option. But I mean, really, besides like, he's not going to be your X, right? He's not going to be your go up and get it. But like, he had one of the best. He had the second best long jump of any wide receiver. He was in the top 5 for vertical. He was in top 5 for 40. His 3-cone was in the top 5. Like, athletic freak. Jump out of a gym. He's so talented. So talented.
Yeah.
If you're
No,
watching this,
Jalen
go
Noel
watch
is,
some Jalen Noel.
bro.
He's so good.
He's so dynamic in the slot, and
Yep.
he took snaps outside too. So you
Yep.
get a little bit of versatility there. And Iowa State, man, they got some dogs at receiver. So I don't know, man. Like
him and Higgins.
yeah, they were fucking good.
Yep.
You talk about him against man coverage, he excelled. Like I like Jalen Noel a lot. But I don't know. Again, like honestly, if the Jets said, all right, we're not too high on Shador, and you want to take Matthew Golden at 7, I'd be like, fuck yeah, do it. Because you know what you're getting. Like,
Or Tyler Warren.
Yeah, tight end
Mhm.
that can play, that can ball. I mean, he played for Penn State, so whatever, but he's a damn good tight end, right?
Yep.
But I would much rather have the premium position in wide receiver. Like, if you're gonna do something like that, go get another wide receiver.
I almost feel like Ted McMillan would be perfect. Ted is the perfect pairing wide receiver for Garrett Wilson. You have Garrett, who runs a lot of his work is the dirty work across the middle.
Mhm.
Ted's that guy that's going to be the vertical, the contested catch, the go up and get it. He could also be a big slot, but a lot of his stuff is I don't want to say the Gabe Davis role, because I think that's disrespectful, but that encompassment of what he does very well.
I see what you're saying. I would say Matthew Golden, just for the simple fact that he's something that in your division teams won't be able to cover. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Ted, I can cover Ted. I'll put Benford on him, and it's a wrap, bro. Like
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a fan of. I think his route running lacks nuance. Him against press, I think needs to improve. Or as big as he is, I don't think it's that great.
Right.
I would much rather have Golden than Ted in that offense.
He's the second best wide receiver in this draft.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like I don't even know if they're having that conversation, right? Like I just don't
hope
trust
they were, but but with the Jets,
bro.
What was that phrase? The Jets are going to jet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty interesting dialogue there. All right, so let's shift our focus to the freaking Patriots, man. We started off the show kind of talking about them, and I think last year they fired their coach, and Gerard Mayo, like I just think he got short on the stick, and it wasn't time for him to become the coach, right? We know he was endorsed by Bill Belichick, and we've seen the Patriots kind of have this, we want to kind of anoint a guy before the guy leaves kind of thing, and they did it with Josh McDaniels. He didn't take the job. Now they did it with the guy Gerard Mayo. He's gone, right? So now they go out and they get a well-known, I think it's the best coaching hire this coaching cycle. They got a fucking guy who's going to bring toughness. I think he's going to be organized, and he's going to have, a mentality and mindset, that gritty, tough mentality mindset that they need, right? So I think that's phenomenal. And then they went out in free agency. You got who? Tell us who they got in free agency, because it's a fucking list of guys.
Yeah, they definitely went spending, which I mean they get a lot of money, so it makes sense. Yeah. They went ahead and they brought in Josh Dobbs to be the backup to Drake May. I think that's a good move. They went ahead and signed Stephon Diggs on a 3-year, $69 million deal. Matt Collins on a 2-year, $8.4 million deal. I think he's perfect in that offense. Austin Hooper, re-signed him on a 5-year, one year, $5 million deal. Like I said, they on offensive line, Morgan Moses, Wes Schweitzer, Garrett Bradbury. On defense, Clavon Chason, Harold Landry, both as defensive ends. And then Milton Williams was their big fish, 4-year, $104 million, $51 million guarantee. And Curious Tonga, 1-year, $2.7 million deal. They signed Robert Spillane, really good linebacker.
Really good signing. Right.
Yep. Carlton Davis, if he could stay healthy, a very, very good physical corner. I think it's going to be great opposite of Christian Gonzalez. Yep. And then Marcus Epps and Jalen Hawkins back there in the safety room to go alongside. And they have 2 very, very good safeties existing already in New England.
Peppers and Duggar.
Yep. Peppers and Duggar. Exactly. Yep. So, I mean, that defense was already in really good spot, and you just injected a lot of really, really good juice. So I like what they did. Again, I'm not trying to talk up because I know the big point is we think the Patriots are better than the Jets. But in totality, the moves that they made in comparison to the Jets and the Dolphins, I think are just leaps and bounds more impactful, regardless of where the Patriots were starting. And I think the Patriots defense was in a really good spot. I think their offense is just lacking. I think what they did on top of this is they made the draft so much easier for them to attack the offense and really hone in on adding as much talent for Drake May as humanly possible.
Right. The problem with them is, okay, now you've added some pieces, right? Like you went and got Stephon Diggs and you paid him. I think that you didn't just get Stephon Diggs, you got Stephon Diggs and you paid him money. You paid him a lot of money. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, if I'm the GM, bro, I gotta still think wide receiver. I need wide receiver, I need running back, and I need some more pieces on my offensive line. I'm okay with what they have defensively. Like, I think getting, Carlton Davis says you don't need, what's his name? University of Colorado defensive back wide receiver.
Oh, Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I think they're basically saying we're not interested.
I would still take Travis Hunter because if you take him, you just make him a wide receiver first and have him.
I don't think he wants to do that. I think he, his intention is to play both sides of the ball. Now, is he better than Carlton Davis? Yeah, day one. I would say he's better than Carlton Davis day one. Would you agree to that?
Right.
I would say that.
What, Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
I think Travis Hunter's the top 5 corner of the day he walks on the field.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd be okay with that. But I don't think that's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that's what they're going to do. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. But I do think wide receiver is still like looking at that roster.
Yep.
You're going to get Milton Williams. We're going to see how he looks, in a new environment, right? Not playing against so many dogs. Harold Landry's good pass rusher. I feel like, he's on the decline, right? And but the defense has always been good. Like it's been good. Even last year, I thought it was good. I still think wide receiver is the thing. I think they have to be looking at receiver in the draft. You got to.
Right.
You just got to, man. I don't know who. I don't know who that is. And maybe wide receiver, maybe they think Stephon Diggs is it. And they think, you know what, between Diggs and Demario Davis and Keyshawn Boutte, they took I think Jalen Polk in the second round last year. So I don't know, man. Like if I'm them, I'm thinking I need some more weapons for Drake May. You can never have enough weapons for a young quarterback. I don't like Stephon Diggs in that locker room. Maybe Stephon Diggs comes in and he's like, yo, like Drake is it, like this is my guy, blah blah blah. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't think Diggs is that. He's a cancer, bro. Everywhere he's been, has he not been a problem?
I will say that Aaron Wilson, who is a beat reporter for the Houston Texans, did come out today and say in video that Stephon Diggs was well respected in the Texans locker room, spent time after
he was there 2
practice.
seconds.
I know he was.
He had to be on his best behavior. And what the fuck you gonna say after an ACL injury? Like you can't say shit, but hey dog, like I'm gonna dap you up there. Go get that. And he can't say shit. So I don't and I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm just sitting there like, bro, that's some fucking bullshit. Dog. Like, did he pay you? Did his people pay you? Did Cardi B pay you to do that? Come on, dog.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not. Stephon Diggs is just drama. So, I mean, at the end of the day, but then again, here's the thing. Maybe the Patriots and Mike Vrabel, who's a really good, just a stone cold killer of a coach, he sees that as this is just a good receiver. Even if, let's say Stephon Diggs is 80% of Stephon Diggs, right? Or 75%. His hands aren't injured, right? Like you tell Stephon Diggs to do 5-yard curls, right? Or just, you go out 3 yards slant and go straight across. He can do that, and he's got good hands, and Drake May is a very accurate quarterback. Like, that's basically like almost like having a really good tight end. And Stephon Diggs, at the very minimum, provides leadership, know-how in the fact, and I mean leadership in the sense that like he can give Drake May understanding from his experience in the league. Like, it's just, I think it's a heady move of having a guy that can provide long-term just stability in that room. And they can always add. You go ahead and get Travis Hunter if you wanted, or Ted McMillan, or
Right.
Matthew Golden, or Luther Burden, or you get in that second round, and there's a ton of options there. We've talked about, like, I think at least they don't have anything, right? So maybe it was you got to get something, and the pile of shit that was there. He was the shining pile of shit on the top of shit. So they were like, okay, that's what we're going with, is Stephon Diggs. And again, like I said, still got good hands. Like, he looked good for the Texans last year, albeit in minimal action. But he had like 40 catches, 470 yards, and 3 touchdowns in like 8 games. Well,
Okay.
it wasn't bad.
But tell the truth though. What did they have to do? What they say? They said, you know what, dude, you're now a slot receiver. That's where you're lining up. And you're paying, the way you're paying him says, you know, you're anticipating him, like, you want him outside. And I think his last year in Buffalo, I think we saw that he's not the player that can just line up outside and make shit happen. Like, he's not that guy anymore. And so, okay, so, and then look who he played with. He played with some fucking dogs at receiver in Houston, and a good quarterback. So, I mean, yes, 40 receptions, 400 yards, and he was good. I think it was good-ish in the 6 games he played. But I don't know, man. If I'm a Patriots fan, I got buyers beware, man.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking, and the reports they're coming out, they're saying, oh yeah, he's going to be ready week 1. And I'm just like, damn, like, I don't know about that, man. I just can't bank on that, dude. That's just a tough. So that's why I'm saying, like, wide receiver, man, like, you got to be thinking receiver. And if not round 1, I mean, it'd be nice if you go, you know, get some help on the offensive line. Like, I could think of some guys that I'd take a look at drafting on the offensive line. But I don't know, man. It's just, dog. It's just, I don't, dog. It's rough. I think it's rough. We'll see what their mindset is. That's why I love the draft so much, right? Because you kind of get to see, you know, the plan. You see the plan come into place of what these teams are thinking, and that's a team that I'm just like curious. Like, I have no idea what they're thinking in terms of draft.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do, but the nice thing is, like we've talked about, I think they've got a good base. Like, they're in a good spot. Offensive line obviously is something they need to focus on in terms of building up. They don't want Drake May to get killed like he did last year. And they had, I mean, like a D3 offensive line. Like, it was super, super limited in talent. So obviously that's, I think, you know, do they go Armand Membu, right? Like, I think that's
Armand Membu. I think if you have to look at those two guys. If you're not going receiver, which, I mean, you're probably not going to take a wide receiver at number 4, obviously, because I don't think so. At 4, that's kind of rich. But you tackle, yeah, Will Campbell. Will Campbell would be great. Armand Membu would be fucking great. Like, that should be their goal. That's what they should do, but that's not what they always do, right?
Right. I think it's gonna be a tough spot for them. But I think where they are in terms of their build, I think they're in a good spot. And that's why I think both of us believe that they're the second best team in the AFC East. And at the very minimum, if they aren't at this very moment, I think they're going to be. I think their trajectory is a lot better off than where the Jets or the Dolphins are at this present moment, because they're doing it the right way. They're starting from square one. They're saying, hey, okay, we're going to build this thing up. Drake May got a year under his belt to kind of learn. Now, second year, add more into this, add some more pieces like what they did with Josh Allen. Just kind of keep just plugging in more talent, filling different spots, and trying to bolster that roster. And I think they're doing a good job. I really do. I think Elliot Wolf is a smart GM. I expect him to make some nice signing or some nice draft picks again. They did a nice job, minus the wide receivers, which weren't great. I mean, Javon Baker, we'll see, but Jalen Polk was a disaster. So we'll see. We'll see. I really where they're at. Yeah.
Would you stay at 4 or would you trade back? Because I think some trade partners you would have. I think the Raiders
certainly
might want to.
I think it also depends on who's there.
Okay,
like if Shador's there and he falls to 4, you're gonna have a shit ton of teams trying to come up and get to you. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. Well, actually, if Abdul Carter's there, if I'm the Patriots, I don't think I think I take him. I just run that card straight up and that's it, and make one of the most ridiculous defensive lines in the entire league.
Well, yeah, with Josh Allen in your division, come on, man. Like, it's a no-brainer. you know.
But yeah, if there's options and you've got a couple different choices, certainly drop from 4 to 8, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, to be honest with you, here's the thing: if Abdul Carter's there, and as much as I think they should take him, if you can drop from like 4 to 8 or 4 to 10, still feel like you get a pretty darn good talent, like get a Mike Green, right, or whatever you might need.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get a killing. You're gonna get a king's ransom from somebody to move from 8 to 4, or 10 to 4. So it just depends on who's there. If there's a really high end prospect, specifically a quarterback, or Travis Hunter, or Abdul Carter, I'd listen to phone calls.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots are in a build right now where the more picks you can get, especially next year, right? Like, just keep stacking and stacking and stacking. I think it's great. I think it puts you in a good position.
I think that's the way to go. I think if you're sitting at 4 and Abdul Carter's not there, I think the best thing for you to do is trade back, because
I agree.
You know, you already have the quarterback in place. Why not let the rich get richer? You know, I think you're gonna, and they say this every year, but next year's draft, I think there are gonna be a lot of guys there. And I think, you know, if you have another shitty year, okay, you're gonna be, I mean, realistically, the Patriots are probably gonna be a top 10 draft pick team, right? I just don't, you know, I mean, you got Drake May with the new offensive coordinator, right? Like his second coordinator in 2 years. I mean, it all can work out, but I mean, I just think that's a lot for a new team, etc. But yeah, man, go. You know, if I mean, you can get Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. I think those are like blue chip players, right?
Agreed.
But if it ain't there, you got to move. You got to move. I trade back, bro. That would be what I do.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best move. And like I said, the more talent you can get, the better. And by trading back, you're giving yourself more. You're giving yourself more lottery tickets. Yeah. Which for a young team that's on the build, that's the way to do it. Now, mind you, there's also the mindset of getting as many blue chip talents as possible. Mm-hmm. And at that 4th pick, you know, with the likes of Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders up there, you're probably going to get, more than likely at 4, you're probably going to see one of Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter there, or again, Shedeur Sanders. And if it falls where Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter are there, man, I'm gonna have a hard time passing up on one of them. I mean, can you imagine, like, Travis Hunter, you have him on the offense with Drake May, you have Stephon Diggs, Matt Collins, Javon Baker, Travis Hunter, you had another receiver potentially in maybe the 3rd or 4th round. That's awesome. Or on defense, you have Travis Hunter and Carlton and Christian Gonzalez. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much you could do. Like, but then again, Abdul Carter, you add him to that defensive line and woof.
I mean, and even at pick 38, you know, in the 2nd round, like there's going to be some guys there that you can get. So, I mean, they're in the sweet spot, man. I think the draft kind of starts with the New England Patriots. I mean, because we know, right, the 2 quarterbacks are probably going to be gone by this point, potentially, at least one of them. I think Travis Hunter will be gone and possibly, you know, Abdul Carter in those first 3 picks, right? Agreed. I think we can all agree to that. But I think it starts with New England at 4. Like, what are they gonna do? They don't need a quarterback, so Shedor's not on their list. But maybe somebody wants to trade up. I think the Raiders are a very sneaky team to want to get up there, just because Tom Brady in that ownership team, he loves Shedeur. Like, that's his guy, you know. So we'll see how it all plays out. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. And we talk about the Bills a lot, so I mean, it's not, you know, nothing crazy, but we've kind of seen, you know, Brandon Beane kind of slow down on the signings, right? Like, we saw what they did with the Milano contract and kind of what they've been doing behind the scenes. So CB2 is still in need. I think the Bills are very heavily thinking, all right, yeah, we got to go CB2 round 1, kind of reminiscent of the Kyrie Elam draft, and they'll probably double dip and take another cornerback mid to late rounds. So are we still, I mean, obviously cornerback 2 is where we're all thinking, but is there, you know, like, I never wanted to pin Brandon Beane in and say, okay, they're gonna do that, right? Because like, you look at the cornerbacks, albeit I do think there's some really solid cornerbacks in this draft. Like, how much different is Trey Amos than Dorian Strong? You know, like we're talking, so that's like end of round 1 to round 3 to 4, right?
Right.
Like what's the talent gap is not very big.
Right.
So the gambling man that Brandon Bean is, do you take a different position in the top 30?
Right.
And then kind of go get because you got 2 second-round picks and get your corner in one of those second-round picks.
Yeah, you can get Darian Porter in the second round. And I think Darian or Benjamin Morrison.
Maxwell Hairston in the second round.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of options there. Like, would I love, and we've talked about Siobhan Revel Jr., right? Or Trey Amos, of course. Like, there are some great options, and I think impact players. But I mean, we've talked. Kenneth Grant's our dude. Like,
oh yeah, man, I love him.
Like Derek Harmon would be an awesome piece.
Yep.
Tyleek Williams, I think, is plug and play day one. You start him next to Ed Oliver, man. What a D line you've got with Joey Bosa and Greg Rousseau. I love that.
Hey, Tyleek, did you see what happened to Tyleek Williams today at the pro day?
No.
Yeah, I think he hurt his knee on a 40.
Oh, good. Great. That's wonderful. So you can get him later.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. They haven't said anything yet. But yeah, I mean, dude, he blew a gasket running that 40-yard dash. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him. But I just wanted to throw that out there for those of you who didn't know.
I did not hear that. Let's see. Let me see if I can find some information. But I think the thing about it is I just think there are so many incredible options in terms of in corner, but also in defensive line and defensive end. And like, there's so many things that the Bills that they need. And I'm not saying like the Bills are deficient of talent by any stretch, but they can go a multitude of different directions. And I think they're okay. I think the Bills have done a really nice job of setting themselves up for success where they can attack that first round pick any direction. They could go if Matthew Golden's there.
Right.
I'd be fine. Like
he ain't gonna be.
No, he won't. But they can go corner. They could go safety if they really wanted to. And I think that's absolutely neat. If they wanted to take Malachi Starks, Nick Amenwari, Xavier Watts, any one of those guys, I think I feel great about it. Like, I just think that the Bills are in a great spot that I think you're right. And they got 2 seconds. I think any direction you go there. But man, I'll tell you, if Kenneth Grant's there,
right? And you're seeing more I've been seeing more mock drafts where he is sitting there at 30.
Yeah.
Now here's and we're gonna do.
By the way, Tyleek Williams is okay.
Okay, good. That's good. So I think let's do our mock draft. And I think for this exercise, we cannot take a cornerback with the first pick at 30. We either have to see what's on the board or trade back, because I think that's probably what did the Bills get when they traded back with the Chiefs? What did they get? An extra 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick? 4th round pick? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so they got a 6th round and they swapped 4th, and they gave them their 4th and they got a 3rd.
Okay, so if Kenneth Grant's not there,
that's not correct. They had a 5th. They gave a 5th. They got a 4th.
Okay, all right. So we're talking. You know, if the Bills were to trade back, you're looking. It's probably teams that they could trade back. Any one of those teams in the top 41, let's say, they could make a trade with, because I wouldn't say the Jets at 42. Just because that's an in division, it probably won't happen. The Patriots, I don't think that's a team that they trade with, but I think everybody else is on the board, right? I think, the Giants being at 34, I think that's a team that they could probably move a couple spots back if they wanted to. He has a relationship with Joe Shane and Dayball, so I think look out for them. The Giants trying to get back in the first round is probably something they could do. So with this exercise, let's we can't take corner in round 1, and if there's nothing that we want to take, like, for instance, outside of Kenneth Grant, like, we're looking at defensive tackles. There's not a defensive tackle to me. Like I like Derek Harmon and Darius Alexander. I think those are two guys that I think are worthy of the 30th pick. But if we're talking, I mean, would I rather have a third round pick? It goes back to that value thing. Like when I'm getting in that end of first to third round, I don't think, Omar Norman Lott is a guy that could go second, third round. Like how much better is, Derek Harmon and Darius Alexander than Norman Lott? So there's a value piece here. So let's run it and let's see what we come up with, because I think it's pretty interesting. And we're going to do more and more of these exercises where we kind of mix it up and put kind of handicaps on ourselves just to kind of see how it falls. No
trades or just straight up?
Was that?
Do we just no trades, right? Just pick who's there?
Well, no, we could if we trade, we trade back.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see who we have available to us. So, James Pierce Jr., Derek Harmon, Nick Scorton, Darius Alexander, Demetrius Knight. Elick Eomanor has gone crazy. Tyleik Williams, Jack Batch. Lots of options.
Okay. Well, I don't know about you, but if James Pierce is sitting there at 30, I think it's a no-brainer. Like, you take him.
Yep.
Like, that would be phenomenal. Another twitchy pass rusher. Well, they don't even have a twitchy pass rusher, so I'm saying another one. But, like, take him.
Siobhan Revel at 43.
I mean, this is shaping up to be an all-star draft. I mean, yeah, you don't even need to ask me. Take him. Okay, so now we're with our second round pick.
Yep.
I think so we have our corner, we got our defensive end.
Could sit there and take Alfred Collins right here. We could trade back to 71, pick up a 93, give them 62.
Let's do that.
Okay. We'll give them that. And if we give them 62, 169, and 173, we can get those two.
All right, let's do it.
Gucci. Okay. Let's see. Alfred Collins is gone. That's okay. But we have some Josh Farmer's there. Josh Farmer has met with the Bills a whole bunch.
He's already met with them. I would take Josh Farmer here.
Okay. Let's go there. And then we have another pick coming up at, I believe, 93, I believe. Loving how this is going right here. First, again, by the way, for everybody who's watching, appreciate all the support so far here at the Buffalo Media Network. Make sure you follow Sterling and myself at Furrow Sterling and at the Thomas DeLoss on X. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Last couple weeks, we've done a bunch of different stuff, but Sterling gave away a Josh Allen jersey. All you got to do is make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, we're going to be doing some coming up. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do that. You could also find us on TikTok and pretty much anywhere else there's social media. So we do very much appreciate all support. And if you're watching this, make sure you like, subscribe, and rate and review. Lifeblood for all of us. So
okay. Hold on. We're talking. We're giving away stuff. Like I want to do. We'll do another jersey for the draft. Like if you can guess the Bills' first draft pick. But I think that have you seen the draft hats that came out?
Yeah, they're nice.
I think they're pretty dope. So we can give one of those away in the interim.
Yeah.
Like we can we can pick a winner in the next couple weeks. And I guess the whole thing is they follow, subscribe to the channel. We could pick a winner to win the Bills draft hat. And then we'll do another one at the end of April if whoever picks the Bills first round pick.
Love it. Let's do that. We will we'll definitely tweet that out later tonight later tonight. But let's go ahead and move on to our pick 93. All right. We've already taken so far 3 guys and we still have 6 picks left. So we did get rid of 1, which is great. At this point, we've taken a defensive end, corner, and defensive tackle. So wide receiver is definitely in the option. We can take a look and see what wide receivers we got. Tez Johnson is available. Isaiah Bond is
Oh,
available.
dude, there you go. Do we even
Isaiah
need to have a
Bond?
conversation?
Okay.
Isaiah Bond,
We
baby.
might
Let's
be able to
go.
get him at a 109, but I don't know if you want to
I
wait.
ain't wait. I don't know if I can wait. I couldn't wait for that. I like Isaiah Bond.
Let's go ahead. Take Isaiah Bond a little early there, which I think is okay. We can take a look at safety too and see. We definitely need a safety in the position. Jonas Sanker, good option. Billy Bowman, that's a little later. We can probably get him a little bit different round. Let's see what else is available in terms of what we need. Let's see. Man, maybe Jonas Sanker is the best option in terms of a safety right here. What are you thinking?
I mean, a double dip at corner wouldn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shavon Revel, even though he's coming off an ACL, I mean, I don't know if we can. Odds are he's going to be ready, but like we don't know. I think a double dip at corner here will be pretty nice.
I like it. Let's go with Parrish.
All right, let's do it.
Go ahead and do that, and then in that next pick, we could probably end up. Let me speed this up a little. There we go. Let's see what we got available to us. So we already got a wide receiver. Let's see what we got safety here. Billy Bowman is available. Let's see. Torrey Horton. We got Antoine Powell-Ryland. Really good defensive
Alexander,
end.
even though we already took another corner, but Alexander's solid. Okay. I think I mean, linebackers a sneaky need now. What they did with Milano's contract. Jack Kaiser isn't the athlete that you'd like at that position. So let's go safety.
Okay. Go ahead and we'll get Billy Bowman Jr.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like that. And then got 3 more picks. And then we are rounding this out, and that'll be the end of tonight's episode. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure hit that thumbs up; it means the world to us. Rate, review, share, and let everybody know about our show. If you can, go ahead and share this and tell people about the Charge Buffalo podcast here on the Buffalo Media Network. It means a lot to us. And again, thank you for the support. So here we are. Oh, there he is. There's my guy.
Oh, Kyle McCord.
Old man Kyle McCord. He somehow finds his way to me every single
I know, right?
that I have. I like it. And then we go ahead and get Danny Stutzman if you really want to.
I think that's who I was going to say. Danny Stutzman.
Okay.
You just took Kyle McCord.
Yep.
Is Danny Stutzman still there?
He's still there.
Let's go get him. Let's get him.
Yep. Or we could take Robert Laundrebeam. Really good corner.
We need some help at linebacker.
Okay, I like it.
For the future.
And then we round out with pick 206, and we are all rocking and ready to roll. Loving what we've done so far.
Let's get a punter. Let's get a punter.
Punter. Okay.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Let's see. Special teams. Who is the available? Jeremy Crashaw. These are like UDFAs, so none of these are good options. So we'll skip the punter for now. Let's see. Ollie Gordon Jr., LaQuint Allen, some good running backs. Shamir Dyke is a good wide receiver from Florida.
Let's take the running back, shall we?
Ooh, Ricky White, wide receiver from UNLV.
Let's go running back. We might be in the running back market. I think having a guy like Ollie Gordon to see what he's got. I mean, even though he's made some dumb a boy drinking. He was drinking.
Yeah.
Let's take him. I mean, he got some upside there,
Yeah, 6'2", 225. Love it. Okay, there we go. Rounding out the draft right there. Man, I'll tell you, I love doing these little mock drafts. Kind of gets your blood pumping, and you kind of have to make some really good decisions because you have to sit there and say, okay, if you do this now, what's going to happen later? What's the best possible scenario of if you take this player, who are you going to have later? Is it better value at a different point? I really love going back and forth. So 2 first, I mean, look, those A+ right there. Obviously these are tough because they don't really like the fact that you took them earlier than the projected, like 71 instead of 79.
Sure.
But overall, We got James Pierce.
That's our best mock draft that we've done, I think.
I think so too. Yeah. Love this one.
How could you be pissed off about that? I mean, you got a edge, James Pierce, Siobhan Revel, solid, right? Josh Farmer is going to be a damn good pro. I'm telling you, Josh Farmer is legit. We got the speed that we've been waiting for in Isaiah Bond, and then we double dipped with cornerback, right? And we got an athletic safety in Billy Bowman who has ball skills, a backup core. I mean, that's a fucking great haul. Like, give me that all day.
Yeah, I love it. Love everything about it. I think the Bills did a great job in this draft, and I think we did too. Sturls, you want to wrap this thing up for us?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, it's my birthday. So, you know, the big 4-2. I'm the big 4-2. That means I'm old as shit. You know, I wake up and I feel the pain every day. But hey, we enjoyed having you guys here, and the support has been overwhelming and awesome. Like, you guys have really shown up for us, and we want to continue to show up for you each and every week. So make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the Buffalo Media Network. I'm Sterling Furrow. That's Thomas DeLau's over there. We got Ian in the background. He's a hot man. He's not ugly. And we will see you next week for another episode. Go Bills.
Go Bills. See ya.
Hot on the mic, bringing it straight from Western New York to the world. This is Charge with Thomas and Sterling. Bills Mafia, stand tall and proud. We got this.